Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Brother and the Man Show. We've been away for a while, but with good reason. You won't like the explanation, but hey, that's how it is. We told you how it was going to be when we first did our first show, so you'll have to live with it. Anyway, we've got a big show. We've got a lot to talk about. Hey, we've got a big announcement after the jump of the Brother and the Man Show.
And here we are.
We are here, and hey, before we get started, I've got a big announcement. This just in. Kanye West has announced he is running for president of the United States. I wanted to tell you before the show,
Whoa.
but I figured I'd make it a surprise for you.
Kanye's-
And this wasn't even on the script. Like, we were going to talk about something else, and this just came
flabbergasted.
in.
Clear
It
the
is.
script. Holy crap.
I know we got to clear the script. So anyway, we got to talk to people about why we've been gone. Then we're going to get into this news on Kanye. But how have
Screw
you
that.
been? We've been
Kanye's
gone
running
for a
for
while.
president. All our
He
problems
is.
are solved.
They are solved. Mental health is going to come to the forefront with that guy as president.
That's right.
I don't know. I don't know what he's running as a Democrat, Republican, or independent. But this is huge news. But we really need to, before we get on that, because obviously we're going to have to spend a lot of time, maybe the whole show on this, because we got to throw it out. How are you doing? And make it quick, because we got to talk about Kanye.
I'm good. This is great. Black lives suddenly matter. I mean, holy smokes.
Wait, stop. I got some more. What the? Kanye just dropped out of wait a second. How did he just drop out? He just announced that he was in. What is going on?
What do you mean he's dropped out?
He's dropped out. I'm confused. He just announced he was in, and now he's gone?
You mean
we just tore up the script? Just tore up the script.
This is terrible. We're left with a superficial, terrible old man who's doddering idiot, and also Donald Trump. What kind of choices are those?
I don't know what we're gonna do. We might have to announce our presidency a little bit late, but how bad can it be?
Can't be good. I voted for you last time, and see what you've done. All right.
I know. Well, good.
I guess we'll go back to the original script.
I guess we do. Bye, Kanye. How's it going?
Not too bad. Brother and Man, Season 1, Episode 5. We're going to call this one The Great Orange Dictator. And Dictator will be relevant here in a few minutes. I'm good. I have Strongbow. Cider.
Strongbow. I have Johnny Walker Red Label because I drunk up all the Hennessy you had on your shelf.
Yeah. Why don't you introduce yourself?
I am the brother, or just brother, as you see on the screen, one half of the dynamic duo known as the Brother and the Man Show. We've been gone for a while. We've been under siege by work, by life, by COVID. We didn't get it, but people are like messing with our swag and our stilo by not being able to travel and do stuff.
Nobody's my family and your family haven't gotten it, but the impact is huge. I know people who have gotten it. I know people who have been laid off. You went through that painfully here a couple weeks ago, I believe. And
That's
so,
right.
I think that we all thought this was going to go away. It's clearly not. I think that the ripple effect of the economy is just beginning to come up. They announced this morning that we're recording this towards the end of July. Hopefully we'll get it up before August 1st. But we're officially in a recession, that the second quarter annualized loss is 32%, which is unprecedented. We haven't seen this kind of regression since the end of the Depression and the beginning of World War II. I'm hopeful that we get a vaccine. I'm hopeful that people will get back out onto Main Street, and I'm hopeful that we'll have a relatively robust recovery, because most people, there's no underlying cause for this other than people aren't shopping and people aren't working. But that can have a ripple effect. We've got to get things going. At the same time, it's not safe to do so. This is not on our script, and I am not going to go on for 45 minutes, but the idea that Republicans, who generally are interested in their finances and their economy, something that I understand and ally with most of the time, are too fucking stupid to understand that if people are sick and at home, that they can't do commerce, and commerce drives our economy. So the idea that you're not going to recommend people stay home when they do go out, wear masks, use some goddamn common sense, and knock this thing down like they have in every other industrialized country in the world, I don't understand why you would be opposed to that. We are not such a great God-created country that we are immune to disease. Wear the fucking mask. I hate it. I can't breathe in the thing, but I wear it when I go to work. I wear it when I go out. Period. That's it. So why the hell would you not want to do that when it's the key to the economy? The key to the economy being there when this thing is over is to have people be safe and not be dead, number one. And number two, stimulate the economy with this freaking sub-zero lending rate. Borrow the money from tomorrow. Because if you don't supplement, people ran out of $600 unemployment from the federal last week. And these guys waited 3 months to even begin talking about it. I couldn't be more angry at this president and this administration and this goddamn bullshit party. And I grew up as a Republican in a Republican household. I am beyond pissed. The stupidity, and that's all it is just flabbergasting. And that's not even on the script. But I am the angry white man tonight.
Okay. And look, I know, just knowing you, how you feel about this country, how you feel about politics in general, and just what your beliefs are. I know how much this affects you, like to the core. I know it does.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree with you more. At some point, we got to stop playing politics with people's lives, people's livelihood, our country's livelihood. Like you said, there is no excuse. We're the most advanced nation on this planet. And I don't say this with hyperbole. We are the greatest nation on this planet. So the fact that we can't do something simple like wear a mask because we think it affects our rights to where we got to go storm the Capitol building in Michigan with guns.
We fetishize.
Where are we?
We fetishize liberty and individualism to such a degree that we abandon common sense, right? And that's ridiculous. And we're paying the price. Oh my God, we're paying the price. We had this thing beat, or at least suppressed, and it's back. Why? Because young people needed to go to parties, and some people can't be bothered to put on masks, and some people don't believe it's real. It's fake. It's political. How the fuck did Donald Trump arrange for the Chinese to create a virus and then inflict it on the whole world so he could not get reelected? Whether he did it or the Democrats are doing it to get him, I don't know. I can't track it. I just know that I think a vaccine is real, and I can't wait for him to get it into motion. And it may be that we're going to be stuck here until April of next year because a vaccine in November deployed through December and January and not getting widespread usage until November. And these anti-vax are fucking idiots. I was worried about them 10 years ago, but now they're in the driver's seat. I'm not taking it. Fuck that. I'm not going to get affected. Well, yes, you are, but whatever. I can't.
It's amazing with all of the science and the facts out there that people continue to be this mind-numbingly stupid about this whole thing. We have people dropping fucking dead, right?
Right.
And at some point, we're all like the lady that sat next. I think I talked about this earlier show. That sit next door to me at work. She had COVID-19, and she told her account of it. She verbalized it, and she also typed it out. And that is no joke. Right? So we all are eventually going to know someone that's got it, and they're going to tell you about their experience. So we have all this data, all these facts. We got dead people. We got people that are almost dead. Herman Cain just died today because of that belief. And we're still treating it like it's a freaking hoax. Like, where have we gone as a country? I'm associated with these people because I'm American, and I don't like that.
Right. All right. Well, let's talk about that. We're all over the place, but we do that anyway. So let's talk about this guy first. So because it ties in, we're almost backing into this, but our fearless leader, elected by a minority of the country, did not have the popular vote. Likes to lock foreign children up into, put them on a concrete floor and surround them with cages inside of a building. If the Russians can't help him get elected, the Ukrainians can help suppress his opponent. Ad nauseum, this guy, the stupidity and the hubris and the demagogue. I hate that this guy's president, and I would take anybody else. I would take my brother. I would take who's not an intellectual giant. I would take Mike Pence. I would take Nancy Pelosi, At this point, I would take fucking Hillary Clinton, and I can't stand her as a person. You know my feelings on her. I think she's fake, but Christ, at least she's got a goddamn. I think she has a soul. She has some sense of common sense. She would be way better. And so the idea that he's president, it really, really bugs me. He's a demagogue, and I look forward to him not being president. And I think that that's likely come November in a realistic vote. He probably thinks that's realistic come November in a realistic vote, because today he said this. And then I'm not going to read it to everybody. Everybody probably knows what this says, and they can go find it. But the last sentence is meaningful. I put the whole thing up there because I want to put it in context. I think we make a big mistake when we try to make this guy look stupid. Just let him look stupid on his own. Delay the election until people can properly, securely, and safely vote? Question mark. He thinks that we should delay the election. Okay, number one, stupid. What the fuck are you on about? Number two, you don't have the right to do that. That's a congressional decision that would take landmark legislation that's never going to pass. It's never going to pass in general. It's never going to pass a democratically controlled House. So it's an abortion of a concept before it ever flew out of your fucking pie hole. How stupid are you? Why would you even say that? Because now you look more stupid. I have very real concerns about this guy being in charge. I have very real concerns about what happens after the vote. You know, do Bernie people and black people not vote and then he wins? Or do they not vote enough that it's not a landslide and so Joe Biden's election can be contested somewhat? I'm not big on concepts of civil war, but man, this dance is pretty close in a worst case scenario, and I don't think that's likely, but boy, I don't think 2020 is going to get better from here. I think it gets worse from here. Given what we're up against, how do we vote? What are the election results look like? And unless it's a Biden landslide, what happens after? Who's he going to sue? How long is he going to drag his feet? We went through this in 2000 with Gore Trump or Gore Bush, right? And that was very civil. And those guys are friends. So what happens when these guys hate each other? And somebody was saying, well, where's the military going to come down? Holy Christ, we don't want to ask that question in this country. I'm president. No, I am. Okay, now what do we do? I hope we avoid that. I really, really do. But, you speak because you mentioned it earlier, and I was interested in what you were saying. Talk to me about this president of yours that you voted for being in charge of this country that we share during an unprecedented pandemic.
Okay, so first of all, I didn't vote for this guy, but I will say this.
That's not what Derek tells me.
Well, Derek's wrong just because early on I was trying to we got to give the guy a chance maybe to do something, and obviously I was wrong in giving this guy a chance, right? And unlike most people, I'm willing to admit when I'm wrong. He was early in his presidency, and it's like, hey, we were stuck with the guy. And back then I did say that I think he's going to win because I didn't see what the Democrats were going to do. Now, little did I know we were going to have a global pandemic come around along with all these other things. And he is the worst, absolute worst president we could have had for this situation. I've gone back and forth with my dad on this to the point to where I don't even talk to him about it anymore in order for it to stay civil. In the fact that I'm not sure what happened to in some cases where my father. I mean, he's a good man, but I don't understand this carrying the flag for Trump when he says he didn't vote for him. But
so stop. I've never spoke to your father, not once, I don't believe, but I've heard you talk about it, and I've read his posts, and I don't think he knows who the hell I am from Adam, but I've posted responses to his things, and he's responded to some of my things on Facebook. So there's been some indirect conversation.
Right. You met him at the wedding.
Well, I was sick at the wedding. I was at the wedding
That's true.
for 90 minutes. I dragged out. I probably had COVID. I don't know. But he seems like a man who's very grounded and just resonates the charisma that requires respect. So I'm interested in what his perspective on Trump is, because you're alluding to it, but I don't know what it is. So back up and explain.
His perspective on Trump seems to be like he's the president and we accept what he says. It is like, you were never like that at all. And so one of the things that we got in a knockdown, drag out fight.
Not to stereotype, but he says that as an African-American intellectual.
Right. Yeah. Which is
it's unique.
Surprises me. It's unique. It surprised me. And this has caused some It's caused some stress between him and my sister, to be totally honest about it.
Yeah.
Because this isn't the same person we knew. Especially, the standard bearer for this person to say this isn't Trump's fault, this isn't Trump's fault. One of the things that him and we had a pretty good row about was COVID-19, and he mistook something I said, because I never said it is Trump's fault that COVID-19 is here. He's responsible. I said his response and how he handled this at the beginning, not taking this serious, is the reason why we're in the situation today. And we went back and forth on that, and I firmly stand by that, because look, it's not on Pierre Robinson to make up anything about the president, right? You got Twitter, you got a whole bunch of news feed that shows what this guy is saying, that it's a hoax. Here's what they're trying to do to me, blah, blah, blah. Only last week did this guy come out and say, yeah, you need to wear your mask. You need to wear your mask, because this might be around for a while. That's a far cry from what he was saying before. And because of how he started, you got a bunch of nincompoops in this country that sat up here and said, yeah, it's a hoax, the liberal media and all that stuff. That's why you have people going to Lake of the Ozarks or going to freaking parties, 700 people house parties for Airbnbs and stuff, and then everybody getting infected with COVID, people dying, or if they're not dying, they're goddamn close to fucking dead.
Herman Cain
The way
died
this
morning.
Herman Cain died
Herman
this
Cain-
morning. Right.
Herman Cain
And
went
guess
to
what?
A rally in Tulsa with Donald Trump.
And shortly after that, he ended up in the goddamn fucking hospital.
Yep.
Right? Am I lying?
No, it's exactly
No,
the case. And
he was one of those people
and
that
he's
was
passed
like,
away from
oh,
it.
yeah, he's passed away from it, directly from it at this rally. We are playing politics with Americans' lives. It is no excuse. This is the greatest fucking country on this planet. And I don't say that with hyperbole. We're the most technologically advanced. We are the most civilized. And we can't even do something simple like wear a mask in order to get this under control, or stay at home, or whatever it is that you need to do to get this thing under control. We were thinking by August, like we'll start to try to return to normal, and we're not even close.
No, I expected us to lock down in March. I prepared my company for that to a certain degree, that we would come out in May, and that we would go back in September, October, and it would be a very long winter. Well, we hadn't even got to fucking August, and it's full balls on. If you will go to rt.live right now and look at the aggregate data for state by state, right now Missouri, where I live and you're from, is the worst out of 50 states plus territories. We have the worst. What it is it's a ratio of spreading. So we're at 1.20, I think, today, and it goes up and down, and it's based on the 7-day average. So a good result tomorrow will drop that number. But point being is that it's spreading when it doesn't need to be. If you wear a mask and the guy across from you wears a mask and you keep 6 foot, you don't get it. It's not spreading outside. It's not really spreading by contact. It's not very easy to get this unless you're breathing each other's air. All you have to do is wear a mask or stay out of places where you need to wear a mask. It's very simple. Now, I have to live in a world where instead of it being largely locked down like it is in Germany and every other industrialized country in the world, South Korea, Italy, who had a terrible scenario, Japan, China even, we're the laughing stock of the whole world. And so my daughter is going to be held out. She's not going to school. She's going to do virtual. I'm glad that we have that opportunity, but I hate that we have to make that choice because she's supposed to be going to junior high, her first year of middle school, and she's going to miss it. Her friends are all going, and I hope to God we're making a terrible mistake, and those friends of hers don't catch this. But my gamble is that one kid in a school gets it, everybody gets it, all the parents get it, and then I get sick and I die with my fat ass. So I'm not trying to have that happen right now. So she's staying out, and we're going to work 2 or 3 days a week, and otherwise staying home. We're going to protect ourselves as best we can. All the president has to do is listen to some fucking common sense and be presidential and say in April, this is real, people, put your masks on. But he couldn't do that. He has to worry about us getting reelected and looking bad. And it's going to go away. It's going to go away. It's not going to go away. I mean, it will. It's going to go away, and someday it'll go away pretty quickly. That's what pandemics do. But it ain't going to be tomorrow. I hope it is. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this looks so stupid in a month or in a year. But I'm afraid, because here's the real kicker. Most people still haven't gotten it, so there's still plenty of fuel for the fire, and it's burning, and it's burning in a million places across this country, and it's just not going to go away. It's really bad, and this president isn't worried about that. He's worried about building a wall. That he tweeted about that today. He's worried about getting reelected. He's worried about shady elections. The only thing he should be, he's pulling people out. He's pulling the army out of Germany for what fucking reason? So
I know.
But all he's worried about is this stupid election, because that's all he cares about is himself. He's an up-jumped used car salesman from Queens. He fucking sucks. He needs to not be president. That's the end of that. Period. And I don't speak like this, generally speaking.
No.
So I hate that the guy's president. And my friends and family that are fans of his, I think you're wrong, and I'll be very respectful of that. There are reasonable people who like the guy. There's a reasonable argument for a Republican to be president because you're afraid of liberal, of Bernie, of AOC, of change, of all of those things. I don't like any of that. I would love to vote for anybody else that's not Biden. Definitely not Bernie, but this guy's not it. And I don't do parties. I do individuals, and this is the worst individual to ever hold the fucking office, period, by a million stretches. So, I'm done with him. You got anything else on this?
No, I firmly believe in what you say. I don't usually talk like this either. Like, I try to keep an even keel. There are some things that will work me up when it comes to politics, but for the most part, in a time where a lot of people on the left side of the aisle were very afraid or very distressed when Trump got elected, I tried to be a voice of reason, be like, look, most of his policies are going to benefit you more than anyone else. At the time, I didn't see what the Democrats were going to do, so I was like, he's probably going to get reelected, but you need to figure out how you're going to live during this time period, because here is what it's going to be. Like I said, I don't think anyone was prepared for it. I think we were prepared for him being embarrassing. We thought he would do something, one freaking thing to where it's like, okay, yeah, here's what he did. He's a businessman, blah, blah, blah. The only successful thing he's done is run for president, But otherwise, we've seen the bankruptcies and all this stuff. But I think we probably thought there would be one thing that he did, and he hasn't accomplished a damn thing to be proud of. No. But that's besides the point.
He lowered
because
taxes.
There are a lot of he lowered taxes. That's it, and I don't see him being lowered for me personally.
No, my taxes went up, but
right.
I can't beat him up over that. That's
right.
His
and
policy being
I
not
can't either.
detailed.
But one thing a president is supposed to do is be the comfort and the person where the buck stops here when it comes to emergencies that we don't account for. Most times we're thinking wars. This time it was a pandemic. He was the worst person we could have because he can't even be an adult. He's always got to be. You've met these people before. You've met the people that, like, you say, yeah, I'm going to Greece on a vacation, and the person goes, oh, I've already been there. I've done this, and here's blah, 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 right? No matter what you say, they've done it better. They've done it before you. They're the end all, be all of everything. Why do you even exist? And that's what this guy is. He's always like, nobody's done more for black people than me. Nobody knows more about this than me. Nobody. It's like, if you're so goddamn smart, what took you so long to become fucking president? That's number one.
Everything this guy does is a catchphrase. It's a slogan. It's marketing.
Yep.
He's a very loud but empty box, and that's it. He has no capacity. His only claim to fame is, and I'll give credit where credit is due, and I don't think there's very much here. He started off as a millionaire and is smart enough to know the laws and ruthless enough to abuse the laws, to invest money in a million things in such a way that if it fails, he declares bankruptcy or wipes it off his books. And if it succeeds, he makes money. So he's taken $1 million and through personality and aggressive use of that personality, he's turned it into several $1 million, because I don't believe he's a billionaire by any fucking stretch of the imagination. And okay, credit to him. He may or may not have paid his taxes. I hope we find out that he didn't, because I'd love to see the guy beaten with some sort of realistic stick after the fact. But, maybe we'll never know. But other than that, I mean, the guy's clearly fucking stupid. He's clearly fucking vapid. He's shallow. And there's no reason for somebody like that to be president. Here's a parallel. Okay, I voted for Barack Obama once, and I voted against him once. I follow him on Twitter. I think he's an amazing man, intellectual giant. I hope that he gets appointed to the Supreme Court someday. But I wasn't a whole fan of his as president. I think that early on we suffered from his lack of experience. Donald Trump has a real lack of experience in spite of being in his 70s. Here's the difference. Barack Obama has common sense, common decency, and intelligence. So he was able to learn, he was able to listen to experts, and he was able to bridge scenarios and try to bring the conversation back. A lot of people give him grief for that. People on the left, black people said he didn't do enough for them. People on the right said he did too much. That's all hyperbole. But he grew into the presidency. This guy hasn't grown into shit, except turning into a piece of shit. And so no, he's the worst. I mean, how did he get elected? It baffles me. I wrote a paper in college propping up the Electoral College. I was in the university and wrote a paper in favor of the Electoral College based upon the idea that I didn't think Ross Perot had any business running for president. And if he did win a popular vote because a bunch of yeehaw people voted for him, that the elites in our society would be a safety valve and be able to vote against him. The elites of our society failed us when they allowed this guy to become president, because it's crystal clear he could not do a good job. And between him being president and COVID happening at the same time, we are in the perfect storm of stupidity and failure. And there's no point in having an electoral college anymore, because it's not doing its job. And if it's not doing its job, why do we have it? Because it's unfair, it's unrealistic. We could go there's a million rabbit holes with Donald Trump's name on them, and they're all valid, and they're all lead to the same shithole. Deep underground. I hope the country survives this mess. I think we're strong enough and deep enough that if he goes away, especially in November, we may be okay. This COVID thing will fall into a realistic scenario in the next year, and there will be a post-Trump world. I just hope that there's an economy that exists and a country that can come together enough that that country is worth having, and that's my concern. I don't know how this plays out.
I agree. Like, I don't know what it looks like if he loses in November, which is a very real possibility. If you notice, and maybe it's just me, Biden is doing something very un-Biden-like. And you know what that is? He's not talking.
Biden is either very smart or very scared, because Biden is hiding. I think Biden is letting Trump lose the election. Biden is not a great candidate. I don't think anybody thinks Biden is a great candidate. I think Biden is a great consensus candidate. Biden keeps going on Twitter and talking. Every time he shows up, he's got Barack Obama right behind him. It's Obama and I, not even me and Obama. It's Obama and I. So he is Taft to Roosevelt. Biden is to Obama, and that's not to say a direct parallel, but Biden is the consensus candidate. Biden is a placeholder. Biden is going to get elected long enough for whoever his vice president is to probably take over. The guy's old. He ain't looking real healthy. He ain't looking mentally strong. But he's a good guy. And the Democrats have recognized that they need to be united behind somebody. And it's got to be somebody moderate to beat Donald Trump. And that's the primary goal that we all agree on. And I'm not a Democrat, but I'm going to include myself in that we. So, yeah, he is being quiet.
What does that look like, though, if Trump loses the election? See, that's what I'm afraid of. Is like, number one, you're going to have a bunch of his yahoos out here losing their minds. And I'm looking directly into the camera to all 5 people who you spread this to, because you may not agree with me. And word of mouth travels fast. I have not been shy about posting stuff on Facebook. If you come this way, I will be heavily armed. Bring it, bitches. And that's all I'm going to say. But I want to know what that looks like if he loses. Are people really going to try to lose their minds and be like, oh, the election was like, what are they going to do?
That's going to be entirely.
And how is he? And how is he going to act? Because let's face it, Andy, the man, whatever, and we're breaking character right here. Let's
You
face
already
it.
said
It's
your
Pierre.
name twice. I was thinking about that.
That,
You,
that's whatever.
you mentioned your full name and you didn't even realize
Right.
it.
Right. This is Pierre talking to Andy right here. So this is like us being in Vince McMahon's promotion, breaking kayfabe, which he hates. It's Pierre talking to it's Pierre talking to Andy.
How can The Rock like Triple H?
Donald Trump has never done the dignified thing ever in his life. So if he loses, I guarantee you he's not calling Biden to be like, hey, you got this. He's not giving a concession speech like, let's unite behind. No, it's going to be everybody else's fault and they stole it from him. Hell, I don't know if this piece of trash is even, and I trust me, I don't know if I've ever called a president a piece of trash until now. But this piece of trash is not going to leave the White House under any type of civil circumstances. He won't just go away. And that's the part I'm afraid of. And because of that, if he is reelected, I don't think COVID is going away anytime soon. We're still going to be sitting in these seats, working from home for a long time. Kids are still going to be getting pushed out to be like, learn virtually, learn virtually. That's okay for college kids because colleges are set up to where you can learn online. They've been doing this for years. But elementary schools, your kids need that type of interaction with other kids and learn structure and how the world's going to be when they leave the nest of mommy and daddy. And with this guy as president, I don't see an end in sight. With Biden, whether he's the most qualified candidate or not is irrelevant. At least he's going to have some common sense and he's going to listen to the people around him and not always try to be like, I'm more qualified than you, even though I've never done your job. I'm smarter than you. I know better than you. I am sick. I deal with that crap at work and I got to deal with it on my TV with the president and in the world, to where this guy is the best at everything and has no results to show for it, whereas the person that's just going along doing their thing is making results. I'm tired of that.
I'm not quite as pessimistic as you are. Number one, I think, look, there's news almost daily at this point about vaccines being successful. They're getting really good initial results. There's a dozen companies. There's at least 4 vaccines that are in stage 3 testing or approaching it. They're getting really strong results. We've never engineered a vaccine in this way. We had a head start. We've never thrown everything we have at it. The entire world's working on it. So I think some sort of mitigating vaccine is realistic. The challenge is not the challenge is not going to be getting a vaccine. The challenge is going to be deploying the vaccine. That will take time. I think that we will have results, and I think we'll be able to come out of our hole sometime in the spring or early summer of next year. And I think it'll take that long. I don't know if there'll be an economy. I don't know what the country's going to look like. I worry about what happens in between then.
I don't know what it looks like either from an economy standpoint, but hell, man, we freaking struggle getting goddamn tests out to begin with.
Yeah, but this is... Yes.
Do you trust this administration to handle this properly?
Yes and no. I do, because here's why. If Biden gets elected, he's gonna defer to the experts. Trump's only chance of not looking like a pariah, looking like Nero and watching Rome burn, his only chance, even if it's after he leaves office, after losing an election, his only chance is to say, look, I helped bring this vaccine to presence. If Pfizer said on October 15th, it works. We've tested it. It works in 85% of people. 85% of people don't get it once they have these 2 shots. And we've got 100 million doses ready to go. We can inject 1 in 6 American citizens. And all we have to do is get them deployed. He's going to throw everything he's got because that is going to be his saving grace. He's going to say, I did this. It's my vaccine. I led this fight. Now we have to get it to the people. You need to get it. And I think that he'll get behind that because it gives him an out. He's looking for an out just like we all are. He didn't want to admit it was a real thing, but he wants an out at this point. It is a real thing. He can't argue with bodies piling up on the White House lawn. And that's what's caused him to come to reality. I also don't think he's going to get reelected. I don't think there's a chance in hell, unless people don't vote, that he gets reelected. He won as an aberration by union workers voting for him, Michigan, and young people and black people not voting against him. I think both of those things are not going to happen again. I don't know anybody on the left who wants this guy to be president for 4 more years, and I think they will go through hell and high water to vote against the guy. And I think that those blue collar workers that he brought into the fold, many of them are upset with him and are going to vote the other way. I don't think it'll be a landslide, but I think that Biden will win. I think he'll win clearly in enough states that it's pretty clear. And when that happens, I think someone like Donald Trump, who is vain, is going to say, okay, how do I salvage this? And he's going to bitch and complain, and he's going to accuse, but he's going to also leave the presidency so that he can go into the private sector as the voice of the opposition and do books and shows and carry on. That's what he was under Obama, because it stokes his vanity. He's going to do the same thing. He's not going to be one to be seen dragged out of the Oval Office. And you got to remember that Washington, D.C. police, the military hate this guy. So if it comes push to shove, they're not going to come down on his side. There are no officers that are going to be loyal to him in some sort of civil disturbance. They're going to be happy to drag him out. Secret Service will, Washington, D.C. police will, the Congress will. There's nobody that's his friend other than people around him. And they're going to see that the handwriting is on the wall as well. So even the people around him are going to go. It's time to go. So he's not going to have any friends. The only people who are going to be his friends are his family. And they will all see and advise him. So I don't think we're talking about a worst case scenario. I don't think we're talking about a constitutional crisis. I think there'll be a lot of drama that will look like that. That's what November's for. But I don't think he may not stay in office. He may say fuck Biden. He may resign. He may say, you don't like me, fine, screw it. I'm out. I'm going home for Christmas. And Pence can be president for 6 weeks. It may be something like that, but I don't think he's going to, you're not getting me out of here. I don't see that happening. I just don't see, reality check will knock him in the head well before that day happens. I don't know that he'll stand on stage with Biden and shake his hand during a swearing-in ceremony, but I think there'll be some other alternative other than, Biden's being sworn in as the Secret Service is dragging him out, in a cot or some sort of blanket roll. But, if he gets a couple beatings, I'm not going to complain. I do worry about him getting reelected. I do worry about him losing in something that is close. That causes drama. But I can't worry about that. I can't. The guy, again, to bring it full circle and then move on, the guy said today that we should postpone the election. That's the real concern, not the election happening and him losing. The idea that he's going to just avoid it altogether.
Right.
But, the good news is that almost everybody, including his Republican allies, his staunchest Republican allies, are like, what the fuck are you talking about, dude? That's not happening. Let's move on from that concept. He's already walked it back. He wasn't,
Yeah.
So anyway. All right. So we talked about one presidential candidate being sleepy. We're talking about one presidential candidate being vain. Let's talk about the third presidential candidate briefly.
Yeah. Kanye West, the third presidential candidate, briefly. I guess we'll spend as much time on this as he spent with his candidacy, right?
Right.
So, so this is somebody we know that is documented bona fide batshit crazy, right? I mean, Kanye's fucked up.
Yeah, it has been from the beginning, and it gets worse.
Oh yeah.
I can't do Kardashians. I don't know. That's fine. Their personalities, I can't tell them apart. I know one of them was a this and now is that. I mean, I don't even
One
know
had
her,
a sex tape.
her name.
There's Kim. There's Chloe.
No,
there's wait. Who are the oldest? There's Kim Kardashian. There's Chloe.
I have no idea.
And then Courtney. And then there's Kylie. And then there's is it two younger sisters? And then there's a boy, Rob. And then there was a Bruce Jenner.
Yeah,
But
so
then proving that they all like black men, he turned into a she and got with a black dude or something like that.
So the correct way to say that is there is a woman who used to be called Bruce Jenner. Is that
Sorry.
correct enough?
Yes, correct.
And I don't remember her name.
Or used to be Bruce Jenner. I mean,
Whatever.
I don't know, right?
Sexual dysphoria is a real thing. And I'm not going to try to play that game. I'm not going to try to litigate that. Holy Christ.
not litigating.
One of the most liberal.
I'm not litigating it, but that was kind of with Bruce or Caitlyn.
Caitlyn.
It was weird.
That's
Caitlyn.
her name.
Right.
I did that right.
It was just,
nobody's mad at me.
You did that correct.
Jenner.
But
all right, very good. Good for her.
What was weird about it though was how afterwards Caitlyn came out and was all, and not to take it back there too much. We don't want to spend too much time. Trump, and now Caitlyn doesn't like Trump.
Nobody
it's
likes
like
Trump.
what made you
Trump in the
think
beginning.
Trump was an ally to the LGBTQ plus community? What made you think that? I don't.
Yep. So let's talk about
back
Caitlyn
to
Jenner.
Kanye.
No, let's talk about Caitlyn.
Let's talk about Caitlyn.
She was ESPN's Person of the Year. Is that correct?
Yes.
Sportsman of the Year, Hero of the Year, something like that.
The Arthur Ashe Courage Award of the Year. Courage.
What did she do that was so brave?
To give you the company answer, this is the company answer, not Pierre's answer. The company answer is that Bruce living with this suppressed feeling for so long that finally at 65 years old, it took a lot of courage to muster up like I was the greatest male athlete in the world back in 1976. But all this time I've been living a lie, and I want to go ahead and show my true self. I've always wanted to be a woman. I felt like a woman. Even though I was married to a woman, I've always felt like a woman. So therefore, I am coming out, and this is who I am, and I want to be a woman, and I'm going to go through the procedure to be a woman.
Okay.
That's what it was.
I don't think that rises to the occasion of that Arthur Ashe Award.
I agree.
But, that's fine. Okay, so his something-in-law is Kanye. Kanye
His son-in-law.
hates Bush
Stepson-in-law.
during New Orleans, so he's an anti-Republican, but then he's pro-Republican and anti-Democrat during Trump. Slavery was a choice. I never understood that one.
I'm not sure what history books he was reading or where his lineage come from the diaspora or whatever. But to each brother his own, right?
I guess. So he runs for president. I think he announced it on a Saturday. I tweeted you right away. I'm like, look at this.
You did.
And then it was like 4 days
Thursday.
later, maybe. It was like
Thursday. He was
like,
done.
I'm out. This is hard. And then let's talk. And then I don't know this, but there's this guy. I'm a second generation rap guy, right? I was there listening to Run DMC and BDP and I saw NWA before it happened. I knew who MC Hammer was before he was a joke, but I'm not up to speed. Right. At some point, I went to college and discovered classic rock, and I stopped listening to hip hop, and so I turned into my father. I am a white suburban guy. That's fine. There's lots of flavors of Americans. We should all get along. I don't really know very much about Chance the Rapper, but I do know that he seems like a good guy. He likes to take care of the city of Chicago. He seems like he's very articulate. Seems like a very up and coming young artist. I saw a headline that he was like, "Yep, I'm Kanye's #1 fan. I'm all in." What the fuck was that?
I don't know.
He had to get that out quick because he had to do it before the campaign fell apart.
I know. I gotta be honest. I don't know shit about Chance the Rapper myself.
You need to turn your black card in.
I'm about to get skewered, and I still want to do that one thing that I told you about things Joe Biden can take your black card for, but we gotta find a time to do it. Because
if you don't vote for Joe Biden, you're not black.
He was snatching them on the Breakfast Club. I think that's what it's called with Charlemagne.
Charlemagne the God. Get the whole title. Yeah, we could talk about that's a whole show.
Snatching cards.
Charlemagne the God. If you're out there and you see this, call me. We'd love to have you on the show, or I'll be on your show.
I'll be on your show. I'd love to be on your show.
That'd be awesome.
Bruh.
Hey, let's talk about how one of the two of us is one step closer to being famous, and the other one is gonna ride that jock all the way to the Oscars and be on the stage in the back with the other 50 people when they announce that you won, and then they announce they were wrong, and they give it to the other guy. Tell me about this recent event that happened.
Okay,
Prop
so
yourself.
you caught me off guard with it, but I'm going to talk about it. So recently, a lot of people have seen COVID-19 and everything going on. It's like, oh, it's the worst year ever, and I have turned this into an amazing year of opportunity when it has come to my things that I do outside of corporate America. For you people that don't know, I like movie screenplays, and that's what I do. And I've always liked doing it. I did not have the means in order to break in, like, guy from St. Louis, right? Went to the military, got out, toiled around for a while. Then I met my wife, so I've been a husband, I've been a father, but I've always found a time to write. And so I've tried to find a community. And so one of the things I joined was that I joined a few years ago was called the International Screenwriters Association, and it started to pick up here recently. Before they didn't do a whole lot, but it started to pick up. But one of the things that what I'm very proud of is this recent occurrence is so to back up a little bit, we talked about on one show to where like I submitted for a contest, one of the most prestigious contests in
Prestigious.
screenwriting. Final draft big break contest, and I made the quarterfinal. So I was like, finally. And so I started to get some producers interested. There was this one in London that was interested. Still haven't struck a deal, but now I'm finally starting to get that validation. Like I know what I'm doing. It's taken years. I've dedicated. I've learned so much over the years. When I thought I was done, I learned more. I watched more movies. I read more scripts. And so a recent thing that happened a couple of weeks ago was the Black Screenwriters, or Organization of Black Screenwriters, accepted me as a member. And so what was great about that is it was totally on writing merit. It wasn't like I had to pay anything, nothing like that. It was totally on writing merit and what I wrote. And they contacted me. They were like, we welcome you to the club, and here's your orientation. So I did orientation last Thursday. Thank you, sir. And so they are a very serious organization. Like me, I'm kind of one of those people that likes to. I write on my own time, but I make time for it. I still got to do work and do this show now, which I love doing. Be a father, be a husband, find ways to vacation, be a good son. And so, but no, they understand these things, but at the same time, they want to know like you're serious about your craft. And so, I'll be joining one of their subgroups here in the next couple of weeks or so, and I'm expected to produce some more content. And I've written a lot of stuff, but over the past few years, especially after living more as an adult. I don't think I ever really grew up until like 15 years ago, to be honest with you. You see things and your writing's different, and you understand the psychology of screenwriting and what you can do. And this organization will be a very big help because they have a lot of contacts, and they're like, hey, here's what we think of your screenplay. We're going to get you in contact with these people, or here's where you need more guidance here,
Yeah.
but here are the right people for that. And so
Yep.
I'm pretty excited about it. And like I said, this has just been an amazing opportunity for me during COVID. Like my creativity is just off the charts right now. And so, I've turned this negative thing into a positive when it's come to my screenwriting.
So I've said it before, and I'm going to say it a million times again, but number one, I'm proud of you. Number two, you have stuck with it because I've watched you produce stuff for 15, 20 years now. I've read a few things in passing. You sent me the one script recently, and I haven't had a chance to look at it, but I'm going to. But I also want to now jump on the bandwagon and start co-plotting with you now that you've done all the hard work. I won't do the technical writing because I have no idea how to write a screenplay. I'll just give you really good ideas, and then I want to be your Ben Affleck.
I'm down with that. I'm down with it. We
And
can do this.
I believe that if we go back to the Hollowell branch of my family, my mother's father, I have some black in me, so I probably could qualify. Word up, and is that how we say it? And so there's no problems there. Black lives do matter. I said that earlier, so it's on record. So we should be good. I'm gonna also be part of I'll be part of the Caucasian Auxiliary or whatever we call it. But yeah, I want to look at some scripts, and I'm interested in giving you some ideas, and I'm very proud of you, and I hope you do become famous. I'd love to see you on some stage. You know, it's a long stretch to say you might get produced by an independent filmmaker in London to the Oscars, but
Right.
who's to say? You know,
Right. Anything can happen.
it could happen, and if that's not what you're shooting for, so much the better. You know, to leave something on celluloid or digital, you know, after the fact is a huge achievement. It's more than I'll ever do. So you know, good for you, and it speaks to your personality and your dedication. So you know, absolutely, you should be proud of that. And I'm glad I brought it up. We have one
Thanks,
more
man. I
thing.
appreciate that.
One more thing
Yes,
on
we
the
do.
list, and it's entertaining, and it's worth talking about.
Yeah.
I'm going to show you my subtitle because this will make you laugh.
That is a good one. So, on our America Day special, our live edition where we had Irv and
month ago.
Weffy a month ago,
We took
we
July
talked
off.
about we pretty much did. I mean, after that show, we probably needed it off. You know, a stressful time period.
Yeah.
But we talked about sports and what they were going to look like. And so we were on the cusp of some organizations starting, the major sports leagues starting. We brought up UFC and what's going on there. We brought up boxing and how they've been doing. But what hadn't been done in the United States was the major sports leagues starting. The NHL still has not started yet that I'm aware of, or they're just not covering on TV. But who has started up recently has been Major League Baseball. We're about to talk about that. The NBA started tonight. The Lakers and the Clippers were on. The Clippers were up last I saw by 6, and then the WNBA has started. And so the NBA is in its early throws, right? And then, but if we talk about Major League Baseball, I don't think they had been playing 4 days before 17 Marlins come down with COVID-19 in their. I guess the MLB has like a limited bubble or something like that, right? They have pockets where you can play. You're playing in your region, if I remember correctly, right?
Right. They're isolating as much as they can. Right. I mean, keep going, but you're right. You know, the West is not mingling with the East, and they're at Disney World. They're all in lockdown.
Right.
You know, so they either
So-
are going to get it as a group or they're not. And if they don't, they can play basketball.
So 17 Marlins got COVID-19. So because of that, they had to. I think the Marlins are on sabbatical until Sunday or Monday. Or I don't think they're playing this weekend. But the Yankees were supposed to play them next. I think they just diverted them to Baltimore or something like that. I think the people that went ahead and got tested that were on the opposing team, I don't think anyone has come up positive or anything. You know, not to make light of the situation, but, you know, Derek Jeter is the owner of the Marlins. And if you know anything about Derek Jeter, he was burning chicks up with herpes and everything. So it's no surprise that his team is giving out diseases as well, or having diseases also. I probably shouldn't have just said that, but hell, I'm not being politically correct. The bottom line is
It's
this.
late on a Thursday.
17 Marlins. Like, we couldn't even get through a week.
So let's back up though. I mean, let's expand the concept both in depth and breadth. So, okay, COVID is out there. It's not the end of the world. Most people are going to get it and get over it. Some people are going to get sick. Some people are going to have lingering issues for the rest of their lives. Some people are going to die. But most of these guys are going to be fine. From a certain perspective, not biologically speaking, but impact-wise, it's a really bad flu. Okay. So it is realistic to go out into the world and try to theoretically create a scenario where you do normal things. We're going to wear masks. We're going to self-isolate. And all of the sports are trying to figure out how they can do something to create some revenue, to create some distraction for the American people. And I think there's some nobility to there, whether it's greed-driven or virtue-driven or both. But each of these sports have their own challenges. And I think it's wildly entertaining that Major League Baseball couldn't get through the first 72 hours without screwing this up. And then, well, what happened? Oh, well, here's what we did. We got on a plane with somebody who said they had it. Nope, they don't have it. We're good to go. So the air crew had it. Flight attendant. Maybe took a test and failed. Oh, it was a false negative. They're fine. Let's all get in this cylinder with recycled air and fly all over the world, right? Let's all go in an incubator together for 4 hours. They get off the plane in Philadelphia. They find out that they have it, and they don't tell anybody. Well, these 3 guys got it. We're going to sit them. The rest of us are going to go on the field. It's amazing to me, and not enough time has passed, that the Phillies haven't gotten it, at least to some degree. Some staff didn't get it. Some press people didn't get it. And then what's the ripple effect? It's your dog. What's the ripple effect? What happens to the other teams that don't get to play? They already have a limited schedule. Now, are they going to have rain delays? Are they going to play double headers? It's amazing that they didn't even get off the ground and they already screwed it up. The NBA is playing in a bubble. The NHL is still trying to figure out if they're going to play in a bubble. I haven't heard that when they start.
Let me talk to you about the NBA. Look at this isn't the NBA as a whole, but one of the things a lot of folks were concerned about was NBA has a lot of groupies, and so they were concerned about. Let's put it mildly. They were concerned about people trying to get groupies into the bubble.
The baby mama core.
Then you got Lou Williams, who broke the bubble in order to say, hey, I'm going to a funeral because somebody died, blah, blah, blah. Well, lo and behold, this fool, and it's not like somebody snapped a picture of him in incognito. Right. He's posing for pictures. He's supposed to be in Orlando. He's in Magic City, strip club down in Atlanta. Oh, I like the food there. The wings is good.
The wings,
dude. Look, I like wings as well. But I'll be goddamn if I'm driving from Orlando to goddamn Atlanta for some fucking wings, right?
They built this giant, complicated bubble, and then like one guy's like, "Pop," it's nuts. And then so
it's like you want to see breasts that bad? Like, god damn, man.
So. Sports is being canceled at levels, right? High schools are canceling football. There's a real question about whether the NC2A is going to play or not. They may not have kids on campus. How the hell are they going to field a team? Every time a football team takes a field, you're talking about 200 people on each side with staff and coaches and trainers and press and security. And oh my God, I don't know how the NFL is going to try to have a successful season, but they're bound to determine, look, we're not going to do the preseason, but we're going to have a full schedule. We're playing 17 weeks and the playoffs.
But that's the thing,
with
though.
Fans.
Here's the thing that we talked about on the last show, and Irv was kind of in disagreement, but I think at the time the NFL...
Irv ain't here.
He ain't here.
See if you get back disagreeing.
One of the things that got brought up during that show, I said that the NFL was already laying the groundwork to where, like, whether they want to admit it or not, this is not going to be a complete season. They had already canceled 2 preseason games. Now the whole preseason is off, right?
Right.
And I just do not see any way. Look, they can be bound to determine all they want. They can be like, I just care about the profits all they want. Jacksonville Jaguars kill me. They're like, I think we brought this on the show, is like, oh, we're only going to allow 25,000 people in the stands. It's like, that's all the Jacksonville Jaguars get in the stands anyway. You're not like doing anything noble.
That's 10% of Jacksonville.
Right, exactly.
It's not a big city.
So the thing about it is the groundwork is there for the NFL to maybe play week 1 to week 3. But I do not see any circumstance in which they play 17 weeks and a playoff, especially if they're going to be like, oh, we're still going to fly cross country.
Right. Well, they have private jets, and so, I mean, theoretically, but look, again, if there is a group of people who are more arrogant than the NBA players, it's going to be the NFL players, right? And so the idea that you're going to take, and what's an NBA roster? 24 people?
It's about 12 active players, and you got the equipment people and the coaches. So, yeah, probably about 24 to 30.
Okay. So increase that by an order of magnitude, 130 people, right? All right. Mm-hmm. The NFL will field 70 players maybe per team. Well,
they're talking about doing more this year, though. I thought I saw they were going to try to do 80 or something.
And then expand that out to the surrounding staff, surround that out to their families, surround that out to the kids' friends, right? how the fuck are you going to build a bubble around that? 32 teams times 3,000 people per team. We need you to all self-isolate for the next 6 months. That's not going to happen.
No,
You
the
come
NFL
from the
already
stadium
said
to your
screw it,
mansion and
though.
back. That's it. No, that's not going to happen. So it's just a joke. So the NFL comes out this week and they start clowning the MLB because, oh, look, see what the Marlins did? Now, here's what we're going to do. If a team has COVID, anybody on the team has COVID, well, they're going to just not play and that team will forfeit. Well, the fuck? That's going to happen?
No.
People are screaming because Brady had soft footballs in the Super Bowl and they wanted to throw the Super Bowl. How the hell are you going to play a season and then find out you didn't make the playoffs because you forfeited a team because one guy, because the kicker had COVID? What the hell? That's going to sail. Like the owners, like that owner's going to let that go. So it's just, it's a disaster waiting to happen.
If I was the NFL, I know they're not going to cancel the season, but if I was the NFL,
No, but the season's going to cancel them is what's going to happen.
the season's going to cancel them. But I would probably be pushing back when you're going to start. That's what I would do. I think you had floated this concept on the last show we did about maybe a winter or a spring season or something like that.
I don't see that. This isn't going to get better. You said that earlier.
Right.
I don't think
correct.
that this is going to go on for the next 3 years, but I think it's going to go on for the next 6 months. They need to just cancel the season. There's no putting it back 3 months.
Right.
You're going to, well, they need to just let the season go, or they should just play it and deal with it. It's going to be a shit show circus, and that's fine. But
The notion that you're going to play 17 games and the playoffs is ludicrous.
right, exactly.
Dude,
right.
you're going to be playing quarterback for the damn Tampa Bay Buccaneers. That's how bad it's going to get if they're like hell bent on being like going on with the season.
Right. I don't know. They're going to have multiple teams. It's going to be a scab season, is what it is, and I'm not going to watch it. You can't watch it. I tried to watch. I don't remember who was playing, but I caught the NBA earlier this morning. Look, basketball, and it's just like I can't get into this. It's not the same season. So how the hell are we going to pretend it is?
If you don't have the energy, you
Right.
don't have it.
Right. And there's no outstanding personality. I don't know. Maybe they'll build some drama. Some shit will happen, and then Shaq will, I can't believe that happened. I can't do a good Shaq imitation, but there'll be some drama. There'll be some stories. Some personalities will come out, and LeBron will say something, or he'll do something, or he'll perform in an exceptional way, and we'll go, oh, really? The King is playing. We want to make sure we don't miss this because he's going to retire in 3 years. So let's watch him play. There'll be some synergy there. Baseball's fucked. Nobody's watching baseball. There's not a single person. There's not a single person I know that was like, oh, did you see the baseball game? I just think we're over all of this. And until we can get out of our houses and go eat in restaurants and maybe catch a movie and hang out with our family, I don't think anybody cares about baseball, and I don't think there's anybody that's dying that I got to put it on. If it's on, they'll watch it, but I don't think anybody's crying for it. I'm much more interested if there's going to be Thanksgiving or Halloween. Is my daughter going to go trick or treat? Am I going to see my in-laws and my cousins on Thanksgiving? Because my guess is that we won't. And those are the reality. Are we going to be able to do Christmas? Do I need to buy Christmas presents now because there's not going to be a way to shop for them? So. That's the reality that we're all dealing with. So why the fuck are we, and again, it's noble that they want to create a distraction, but I just don't think it's necessary. I don't think anybody's calling for.
Of all the sports
What's the
that you
ultimate-
knew was
What's
all
the
sports you
ultimate
knew was
expression
gonna
of the
happen,
NFL?
right?
What do we, how does the NFL end its year? The biggest show on earth.
Yeah, I know. Mm-hmm.
The Super Bowl.
With no fans?
Right, exactly.
fans? It's like,
So, is that the end game? Tampa Bay going to play New England in an empty stadium?
in an empty stadium. It's like, I just don't foresee that happening at all. Like, honestly, I really foresee the NFL, because this is the hubris for the of the NFL.
Hubris.
Is that hubris? I couldn't get it out right because my liquor.
Yeah,
but
get all liquored up.
not totally, but I couldn't get it out.
You're slurring your words.
Here's the hubris
You
of
look
the
blurry.
NFL is that here's what they'll do. They'll go the whole season with no fans. Let's say best case scenario, they go the whole season with no fans. They'll be like, "This is the goddamn grand reopening of the country. 100,000 people at the Super Bowl this year." I think it's down in Tampa this year too. Is what they would try to do and try to hold that and then set back COVID recovery another fucking 6 months is what the NFL would do.
Everybody that goes in the Super Bowl is going to have to buy their tickets in December and get their shots.
Right. I'm gonna tell you right now, the NFL is not having a Super Bowl with anything less than 80,000 fans. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, but I mean, the scenario extends. Are we going to have a Rose Bowl? Are we going to have? Are we going to have
The
a World Series?
NCAA is just doing like, from what I saw, the NCAA, some conferences have said we're just playing in conference. We're not doing out of conference. That's what I've seen so far.
I don't understand how Mizzou's going to play the SEC if they can't get to an airport and they can't put kids on campus.
Bus.
You know, I don't understand that. The NCAA should shut this down. No one's being brave, and I get it. I said early on during COVID that Governor Pritzker, who's the governor of the state of Illinois, shut down the entire state because Chicago had it really bad. There were counties where there were no cases and people couldn't go out to dinner, and there were restaurants that went out of business for no reason. But now we're in the opposite extreme. It's everywhere. We've got to use some common sense, and nobody wants to do that. There's the phrase I keep saying is there's no appetite for a total shutdown. I get that, but you know, there are things that we need not do, and to do them is stupid, and that brings the whole show full circle. I'm going to say that we're late. I'm going to say we've talked this thing to death. I'm going to say that you're drunk, and
I am not. Hubris.
And we both have to still work tomorrow, so
I'm going to have to do some work here in 28 minutes, and then I'm
Yes.
going to bed.
yes, but you're 2 hours, an hour. You're an hour behind me.
Right.
See? So my little clock says 11:30. So it's really late. I got to get up in 6 hours. So
You go get some
I'd
sleep.
like to get some sleep. So we're going to call this a show. Thank you for watching. My daughter says that I have to say, if you like the show, comment, like, and subscribe, and make sure you hit the bell. I don't know what that means. I think that's a YouTube thing. We're also going to be on Facebook.
is.
We'll post there. We have podcasts. We're going to have some guests. If you'd like to be a guest, or if you disagree with things we said, come on the show. Send us a direct message. We'll respond. I think we're going to try to have Heffy on the next episode. Yeah, we'll call it an evening. Thank you for watching. You good?
I'm good.
There we go. Very good. All right. We will talk to you, and we're going to record another episode soon so that we have
That's
a
right.
backlog.
That's right.
Happy July. August is next.
Yeah, baby.
And we're out.